and welcome to another round of 12 News Weekend. I'm Kariba Divine. Here at 12 News, we strive to bring you the very best journalism in the Valley. That is why each week we'll rewind the tape to show you some of our very best stories. Some will make you laugh, some will make you cry, and some will make you feel. This is 12 News Weekend.
Valley woman using social media trying to make a difference in her community. So she hasn't created a new dance or a new trend. Brenda Lipinski explains this woman's influence comes from just being genuine.
So as a blind person, I'm going to show you how I use my phone and go through TikTok.
31-year-old Catherine Chavez is a social media influencer on YouTube, Facebook, and TikTok with several 100,000 followers.
My husband was like, just do it, just do it. And I remember I posted my first video and it was getting like 5,000 views. We're like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. 15,000 views. We're like, what?
Who loves to share her life with the world. Catherine was diagnosed with a rare eye cancer called retinoblastoma and had to have both of her eyes removed.
And they told my parents that I'm gonna probably express like hatred towards them and anger because I'm going from being able to see to complete not being able to see, from a moment of going to sleep and waking up, right, because of surgery. But surprisingly, when I got out of surgery, like it wasn't like that. I was very peaceful and my reaction was not what the doctors expected.
And although her eyes are physically removed, she never lost sight of living a life she wanted.
In high school, I did cheer. Middle school, I was in the band. I went to ASU. Go Sun Devils. I graduated from ASU. And I did a study abroad program.
She's a busy mom of two, a wife to a husband who thinks the world of her.
My wife is just an amazing woman. You know, people like have asked me before, oh, how come you married a blind woman, or what got you into that relationship? And honestly, when I was looking for a spouse, I wasn't looking for a blind woman. I was looking for an amazing woman, and she just happened to be blind.
Someone who isn't afraid to go ziplining and inspiring thousands across the globe.
They'll message me like, oh my gosh, just your content, watching you and your family and how you interact with your kids and the pictures with your husband, like gives me hope for my little girl that she will have a family, that she can have a family despite her disability.
Hoping to give others permission to live their best life.
No matter what your disability is, like that doesn't define who you are. Like despite your disability, despite your struggle, like you can be a great parent, you can be a great employee, a great business owner, a great friend. Like a disability does not determine, how good of a person you can be.
Brenda Lipinski, 12 News.
Oh my gosh, how lucky are those kids to have her as a mom?
The story gave me goosebumps.
I know.
So good. And her husband, I wasn't looking for a blind woman, I was looking for an amazing woman. And she happened to be blind, so there you go. Great stuff.
Well, next month marks the beginning of our fall migration for the monarch butterfly. Unfortunately, over the past few decades, the monarch population has greatly diminished, prompting a major concern about the health of our ecosystem. But there is something that we can all do to try to curb this trend. And joining me now to discuss is Derek Kellogg, the Director of Animal Care at Butterfly Wonderland in Scottsdale. Derek, welcome.
Well, thank you for having me on.
Let's first start with the numbers. Can you give me an idea of what we're looking at as far as the population of our monarchs?
Yeah, so when you're looking at monarchs in the United States, you have two main migratory populations. You have the ones that are to the east of the Rockies. These are the ones that are migrating mostly towards Mexico. Their population is usually in the single-digit millions that can fluctuate from year to year. Back in the 90s, it would have been in the tens of millions, even close to 100 million. Then you have the western population, those in the Rockies and further towards the Pacific coast. Those have a tendency to overwinter in California. That's a much smaller population, but in recent years, it's only been in the single-digit 1,000s.
Which is terrifying. What does that kind of a population decline mean for our ecosystem? Why are they so important?
So one of the things you can think about is that monarchs are really great, biologists like to call it a keystone species. So this is a species that if its population is declining, it's really easy to tell because they're such large, beautiful butterflies. if it's in trouble, there's going to be a lot of other species that are in trouble as well.
Because they're pollinators.
Exactly, they're
Like
pollinators.
this guy that you brought for us.
Well, this one isn't a pollinator. This
not a
one's actually a predator.
Oh.
that's okay.
Wildly
But
different.
This is one where it's going to be impacted by the same pressures.
Okay.
So when you're looking at monarchs and their population decline, it's going to be primarily from things like habitat loss and pesticide use. And those same exact things are going to affect this species as well. So this is a giant vinegaroon.
And they're indigenous to Arizona. We only have about a minute left, so let's get moving with this guy.
Yeah.
Tell us about this.
So this is a giant vinegaroon. They're actually native to right here in Arizona.
And he's not a danger to people, right?
Not at all. So one of their common names is sometimes called a whip scorpion.
Okay.
That's because they look kind of like a scorpion, but except for the tail, which in a true scorpion is going to have a venom tip on it. These guys just have a sensory tip. They can't hurt you at all. They don't have any venom. Worst they can do is spray you with like a vinegar-like substance. That's how they get the name vinegaroon.
Okay.
But otherwise, they're not able to hurt you at all. But they're predators, so they'll go around eating up some of the insects that would be around your house, and they can actually be really beneficial.
They're so key, and I don't know if he's going to like my butterfly wings or not, so we'll find out. But tell us about the milkweed, because I want folks to be able to get involved and help the butterfly population, which we can do, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So we have over here a few different types of milkweed that you can grow right here in Arizona. Although, especially with the migration coming through, it's sometimes a good thing to cut back your milkweed during migration because it can affect their migration behavior. Then also to this side, we have a couple of different types of nectar plants that you can plant. Things like lantana and Baja fairy duster, where the butterflies will sip on that, especially during migration. They'll come through, pick up a snack before heading further south.
And it's so easy to do. This is something families can do, kids can do. We can do it in our backyard. We've got the weather for it, starting October to about March. That's when it's good for us to be planting milkweed and then trying to help boost that butterfly population, correct?
Absolutely. Some of these, like the desert milkweed, you can even keep them going through the summer as long as you give them a little bit of water.
All right, Derek, thank you so much. I think I'm going to keep your little buddy here.
All right, well, I guess my job's done here then.
Okay, well, don't bring it over here then.
Ginger, how is your arm not shaking?
Not at all. I mean, look at it. Pound for pound, who's going to win this fight, right?
If something smells like vinegar later,
he's a
we know.
beautiful creator. So I love this kind of stuff, and I love sharing that with you. And again, I've grown milkweed for years, so do it, folks. It's just amazing what we can do. Our role in the environment.
Well, that says
Is
good
he
morning,
smiling?
doesn't it? Yeah, I'm smiling.
My money's on Ginger, though. She's right.
A Valley family has a lot to celebrate and be thankful for after their 5-year-old's cancer treatment finished with clear scans. And as we kick off Childhood Cancer Awareness Month, 12 News journalist Jade Cunningham spoke with the family, who says it's a journey they would not wish on anyone.
Isabella Melgarejo is a spunky 5-year-old.
I think I want to work at Chick-fil-A.
Her bubbly personality can light up any room.
Or I want to be
So it's hard to believe the journey she's been on
a nurse.
and the challenges she's overcome.
Because I want to help kids to be better.
Just like they helped you? It began last year.
In and out of Phoenix Children's for constipation, and then one morning when she woke up, she was unresponsive.
Doctors found a large tumor in her abdomen that was pushing against her organs and causing kidney failure.
When they were removing it, it broke apart inside of her. So she did have to go through chemo, and then they told she was going to have to go through radiation as well.
The treatment was aggressive.
And we went through radiation in June, and she was basically put to sleep every day under anesthesia from June all the way until the end of July.
And ultimately took its toll. She lost her ability to walk and had to be fed through a tube. At times, it was almost too much.
You want to think the best, but at the same time, like, keep thinking like the worst as well. And I don't know, it was just very, I don't know, a lot of things going through my mind, and just trying to stay strong for my wife and my daughter.
Do you see the rings?
But Isabella kept fighting. She began physical therapy.
I see one!
When she couldn't move her legs at all, and then going to that appointment and watching her actually walk with the machine for the first time, gave us hope.
And showed signs of improvement until finally in July, doctors said her scans were clear.
They told me no, that everything was good and that everything was normal. So I was happy, almost like a sigh of relief.
Last week, she rang the bell after her last round of treatment.
The walk we had from here to the bell, it was very emotional because those are the walks we would have to go back to her getting her chemo.
And while she still has a long road ahead,
I call it her year of bounce back.
Isabella is back to being herself again, enjoying the little things.
Playing my mom, my sister, and my makeup.
Enjoying being a kid again. Jay Cunningham, 12 News.
All right, we were just telling you about the record low home sales in July and the housing market, expecting to see more buyers enticed by lower interest rates, but it's not happening yet.
Yeah, now we've got some good news. Turns out those looking to lock down something in the West Valley, there it is, they may be in luck.
12 News journalist Rachel Cole joins us with a move to the west side, I guess. Nicole, what's going on?
Yes, so today I had the chance to talk with Cynthia, a real estate agent who works the West Valley day in and day out. She told me she's seeing the results of this drop firsthand. Take a look. Buying a home is a big deal.
It's going to turn into a buyer's market. It's booming.
The boom thanks in part to rates dropping.
Buyers are making the choice to say, you know what, I'm going for it. And with interest rates coming down, people are starting to feel a little bit more comfortable.
And going for it in one part of the valley could be valuable.
I'm excited for the West Valley.
Real estate agent Cynthia Jareggi says specific cities are primed for home purchases.
Surprised, like you mentioned, the Cromford report says it clearly, is these cities are cities that are just going to be transformed.
The Cromford Report, a monthly pulse on the housing industry, showing the price per square foot staying steady in West Valley cities from 2023 to 2024, turning sales into slam dunks.
I saw that alone in this last week. I sold one of my properties in 24 hours.
The Buckeye Local adding buyers don't have to sacrifice proximity to shopping, schools, or hospitals.
There's just all this growth that people have the opportunity now that if they might have not seen it when I came 19 years ago. I didn't have that. I had to travel into town. But now it's giving that vibe, that Phoenix vibe, Scottsdale vibe.
She says rates ranging around 5% are inspiring sideline skeptics to get back in the game.
People are coming back in the scene to be able to purchase this home. First-time buyers are getting excited about what they're seeing. Just being able to provide a better home ownership for themselves, for their family, and for their legacy.
And what's even better than the tremendous growth that we're seeing in the West Valley is the other incentives that exist right now, one of which is the 3-2-1 buy down rule that's implemented, you guys, by some of the builders out there in the valley. So she named off a couple of specific ones, but as a buyer, you should be asking for those buy downs. And this creates 1% in the first year, 2% in the second, and then 3% in the third. So you sometimes just need to ask. The answer is no until you do, right?
Wow, yeah, it never hurts.
And that gets you down to where interest rates were really attractive. You get 3% off your interest rate.
Precisely. And it's not just applicable to those first-time home buyers. I know we see a lot of incentives specifically for them, but this could be anybody out there looking to buy a new home. So again, just ask and see what's out there, and your real estate agent should be able to answer those questions, if not the builder themselves.
And West Valley really is exploding. There's so much. I used to live there when I first moved to the valley.
Right.
And oh my gosh, it's amazing.
And your West Valley is not even the West Valley so much anymore.
You know what? It was Northern and the 101.
Just like anything west of the 51. But no, I mean, you're talking about the attractions and the theme parks and the hotels being built along the 101 by Cardinal Stadium.
In that,
Top golf, hotels, movie theaters. So they're really their own little cities. And so nothing wrong with a hop, skip, and a jump on a freeway.
All right.
Yeah.
West side.
Exactly.
Thanks, Rachel.
You're welcome.
New at 10, it's a hidden gem right in the middle of the valley, but it's not for the faint of heart. Every night during the summer, thousands of bats take flight from this one spot. And tonight, 12 News journalist Chase Golightly takes us and gives us an inside look at the Phoenix Bat Cave.
It's a spooky sight you wouldn't expect to see in the city. It's happening. More than 10,000 bats flying into the Phoenix sky.
Oh, it's amazing. This is like a once-in-a-lifetime experience for me.
There's so many, they actually get picked up on weather radar, and each night, people line up to see them.
I mean, they were flying a couple feet over your head.
Most of the time I thought I was going to get smacked in the face with a wing.
The Mexican free-tailed bats come here every summer as part of their migration to Mexico. But their home isn't your typical cave.
The bats have picked an excellent spot.
Lisa Blyler with the Maricopa County Flood Control District said those bats chose this 16-mile flood control structure as their temporary home.
I like to say they're good tenants.
The bats come out near 40th Street and Camelback, but that one tunnel runs all the way to Peoria. Shortly after it was built in 1994, the bats moved in and have been here ever since.
They're good neighbors. They're not causing any trouble, and they do a great service to the neighborhood, eating up all the bugs.
It's been dubbed the Phoenix Bat Cave, and we were able to go inside and see it for ourselves.
This is something that most people don't get to go in and see.
We drove in only about half a mile into the darkness, and while we only saw one or two flying around, we could hear them. Thousands right above us.
They actually kind of squeeze themselves up in there because it's extra dark, extra cool.
They do leave behind a bit of a mess.
There's about 10,000 bats, and there's going to be a lot of guano from that.
Which is cleaned up once they leave for the winter. But flood control doesn't mind, given the spectacular view of all of them flying into the night.
It's one of the coolest things here in Phoenix to see.
A hidden gem of the valley for the whole family.
But we're definitely coming back again.
Now, the bats are here from May until October before they migrate south, so you still have a couple weeks if you want to come out and check out the Bat Cave. We're in Phoenix. Chase Golightly, 12 News.
Thanks so much for tuning in. And remember, you can catch 12 News Weekend on Saturdays and Sundays on our YouTube channel and our streaming app, 12 News Plus. I'm Kariba Devine. Have a fantastic rest of your weekend.